Hello everyone, this is a recording of the slides presented at the public information meeting on the 8th of April 2025 for a rezoning application at 1184 Parkway Drive in Port Williams. My name is Perry Bowman and I am the planner for this application. Nick Levy is the applicant and Councillor Doug Gates is the councillor for District 2. So the purpose of the public information meeting was to inform the public of the application, to explain the planning policies that enable this application to occur, and to receive preliminary feedback in regards to this application, noting that no opinions have been formed on this application and no decisions were made. So this is the land use bylaw map amendment process or rezoning process. It starts with the county receiving a completed application from the applicant. Following that, we hold a public information meeting. So it's one of the very first steps is the public information meeting. Following that, we undertake a staff review of the application, which involves sending the application out to other bodies of jurisdiction. For instance, the Department or Nova Scotia Department of Public Works, who is the body who has jurisdiction over the road. Following that, a recommendation is made to the Planning Advisory Committee, who votes on how to proceed with the application. That recommendation from the Planning Advisory Committee is then forwarded to the full Municipal Council at first reading. At first reading, the full Municipal Council will vote on whether to authorise a public hearing for the application. Prior to any public hearing, neighbours within 500 feet of the subject site will be notified again by letter mail, and the application will be advertised on the municipal social media and website. Following a public hearing, there is second reading where the full Municipal Council will vote and make a decision on the application, and following that decision there is a 14-day appeal period. So in regards to the proposal, the applicant is looking to rezone the subject site from the general commercial C1 zone to the light industrial commercial M1 zone to permit the development of bulk mineral storage, which is salt in this case. So on the screen we have a hypothetical mock-up of what the building would look like. Additionally, we have, a hypothetical location of the subject site with the built form in the approximate area of the blue square, and then there is the intent to have a concrete pad in front of the building in order to manage flow of any stormwater so as to not have higher concentration salt water dissipating unmanaged. This is a map of the County of Kings with the red circle indicating the approximate location of the subject site within the village of Port Williams. And this is an aerial image of the subject site. It's located on the southern side of Parkway Drive and has an area of approximately 7.5 acres. There is approximately 440 feet of street frontage to Parkway Drive. At the rear of the site, it backs onto the Cornwallis River and there is a dike running along the rear of the property. The lands to the east, north and west are used at the moment for commercial / industrial purposes, and further to the east we have farmland. So this is a zoning map of the subject site and surrounding area. The subject site and the land to the north and west are all in the general commercial C1 zone. The land directly abutting the site to the east is in the light industrial commercial M1 zone, which is the intended zone for the subject site. Further to the east we have the O1 or environmental constraint zone, which effectively means that the land is flood prone. To the north we have the R2 zone, which is the residential 1 and 2 unit zone, and then further to the west we have the central business C2 zone. So further to the zoning, we do have a range of overlays. We have the environmentally sensitive area overlay, which identifies further to the environmental constraints overlay that the land is flood prone. We also have the urban floodplain overlay, which again, as the name would indicate, stipulates that the land is flood prone and stipulates development protocols in terms of building with flood resistant materials to a certain height above sea level. And then we also have in this orange an outlined area which identifies protected marshland. So this is a map showing the future land designation of the subject site and surrounds. The land designation will generally outline what the general intent of the land is, and if changes are proposed to be made, what those changes can be. So as we can see, the subject site and surrounds are located in the commercial designation. Further to the north, we have the residential designation, and then to the east, we have the agricultural designation. So within the commercial designation, policy 3.2.3 states that the light industrial commercial M1 zone is permitted within the commercial designation, meaning that from the get-go, the municipal planning strategy does not prohibit this rezoning as long as all other policy components can be met. So this is a hypothetical map showing what the rezoning would look like in future if this application is approved in its current form. So this is an image of the site looking looking south from the road. The shipping containers are in the approximate location of where the new building for salt storage is proposed. Again, this is looking west, and again, we can see the shipping containers, which is the approximate location of the new building proposed, and then we can see the dike on the left-hand side of the image. Again, this is looking north from the rear of the site. The shipping containers indicate the approximate location of the proposed salt storage. And then this is looking out at the street frontage, and we can see the self-storage facility on the opposite side of the road. So, in regards to the enabling policy, the Municipal Planning Strategy Policy 5.3.3 states that Council shall consider amendments to any one of the zoning maps of the land use bylaw provided the application is for a specific development. So in this case, the applicant is advised that they wish to construct a bulk mineral storage shed for salt. And point A is to rezone land to another zone enabled within the same designation. So as we discussed before, the commercial designation does permit the light industrial commercial zone. Further to this, Municipal Planning Strategy Policy 5.3.5 states the Council shall consider in relation to all applications to rezone land, point A, the applicable zone placement policies, point B, the impact of both the specific development proposal and of other possible uses permitted in the proposed zone, and point C, the general criteria for amending the land use bylaw set out in section 5.3, development agreements and amending the land use bylaw. So, in regards to point A of the previous slide, Municipal Planning Strategy Policy 3.3.1 sets out the zone placement policy for the light industrial commercial zone. This is the lands within this zone are intended to recognise and provide for the development of industrial uses with light impact. The light industrial commercial zone will also permit development of non-retail commercial uses serving the industrial sector, as well as commercial uses requiring large areas of land for outdoor storage, outdoor commercial display, or warehousing. So this slide indicates the differences between the C1 and N1 zone in regards to permitted land uses. So through the proposed rezoning, we will lose the ability to use the land as of right for the yellow uses, but gain the options for orange uses. So we lose the ability to have residential units in commercial buildings, arts and culture centres, community facilities, daycare facilities, domestic animal grooming, drive-through restaurants, dry cleaning depots, fixed roof overnight accommodation, laundromats, licensed liquor establishments, medical and dental clinics, personal service shops, places of worship, restaurants, and visitor information centres. But we would gain the ability through the rezoning to have abattoirs, animal boarding facilities, bulk chemical storage, bulk fuel storage, bulk mineral storage, correctional centres, drive-in movie theatres, dry cleaning facilities, fishing uses, greenhouses, self-storage facilities, transportation services, warehouses, and wildlife rescue and rehabilitation centres. Okay, and in regards to point C of a few slides ago, looking at the general criteria, these are the criteria that we need to consider through this application, but I will note that sometimes the County of Kings is not the assessing authority or the body with jurisdiction. So in those cases, the application will be sent to those bodies of jurisdiction for comment. So we need to consider if the proposal is consistent with the intent of the municipal planning strategy and policies. Does the proposal conflict with any municipal or provincial programs, bylaws, or regulations? Is there any financial impact on the municipality? Are there any land use compatibility issues? Generally, the next point would relate probably a bit more to residential uses, but are there adequate schools, recreation, and other community facilities in proximity to the site? Is there going to be any traffic hazards or congestion as a result of the proposal? We send the application to the Nova Scotia Department of Public Works for comment. Are there adequate fire protection services and equipment available? We would seek comments from the Port Williams Fire Chief on this subject. Are there adequate sewer and water services available? Again, we would seek comment from the Village of Port Williams. Are there going to be any negative impacts on identified well fields or other groundwater supplies? Would there be any pollution or soil erosion or siltation of watercourses as a result of the proposal? We would need to contact the Nova Scotia Department of Agriculture in regards to the marshland on the site. Is there the potential for flooding or drainage problems? Will there be any negative impacts on farming operations? And is the site generally suitable? Okay, so just to quickly recap the process, we received a completed application and are now at the public information meeting phase, which is effectively the first step. Following that, staff will undertake a review and also seek comments from any bodies with jurisdiction. Following that, a recommendation will be made to the Planning Advisory Committee, who will vote and forward a recommendation to the full Municipal Council at first reading. At first reading, the full Municipal Council will decide on whether to authorise a public hearing. Following public hearing, there is second reading, where the full Municipal Council will vote and make a decision on the application. Following that decision, there is a 14-day appeal period. Now, if anyone has any comments, thoughts, questions, or would like to discuss the application, they can contact me. My name is Perry Bowman. I am the planner for this application. My phone number is 902-690-6150, or my email is pbowman@countyofkings.ca. Thank you for watching.